I'm Cody with Secure Agent Mentor at secureagentmentor.com. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching all these videos. This video, we're going to go over setting appointments over the phone or setting insurance appointments to fill up your week and to get out and see the people. So, what do you need to do when you are setting appointments over the phone? Well, you need to know what you're calling. Say you're calling life insurance leads, and the goal is to get out and get in front of them, or to drop off a quote, or to visit with them for a few minutes to give them exactly what they're looking for. And so if you're doing that, you know what you're calling, but you need to have a why. You're not just doing this for them. You're not just doing this for you, but you're also doing this for them. And you need to have a goal. Say you're going to call 20 leads, and you say, well, my goal is to set 4 appointments during this calling session. And so you need to have a specific goal. If we have goals, we're actually able to track goals and actually hit those easier. So everything you do have goals. And so we know what you're calling, we know what your why is, so to speak, and we know what your goal is to get out of this. We've got dozens and dozens of scripts available that we can actually give out to agents free of cost. It's just something that scripts that we've built over time that are very valuable and that get you yeses more often than not. And you say, well, what's a typical script sound like? Well, just kind of a short, straight to the point script is, hey, Miss Betty, this is Cody. You were just requested a free life insurance quote. I have that ready, and I want to drop that off. I want to drop that off on Tuesdays, or mornings or afternoons typically better for you. And you say, well, probably afternoon. Well, would you prefer 2 o'clock or would you prefer 4 o'clock? Which would you prefer? She says, well, 2 o'clock. Okay, well, what I'll do is I've got you down for 2 o'clock, and then you actually go into what I call solidifying that appointment. I tell them that I'm putting it in my calendar. Miss Betty, I'm going to put this in my calendar right now. Let's go ahead and confirm your address to be sure that I get there on time and early. I've got your address as 123 Main Avenue. Is this correct? Tell me about and then you're going into getting them to see you go to their house. Now, what's your house look like? So they don't get lost and so I can pick it right off the bat. What does your house look like? Is there certain directions I should know? Is it easy to get to your house? Will my Google Maps be able to get me there? Will my MapQuest be able to get me there? And so you can actually asking them for directions, which will get them to visually see you coming to their home. You can also go into having them write it down. Miss Betty, this is very, very important. I am excited to meet you. I need you. What do you do when you have an appointment or an obligation or somewhere to be? Keyword obligation. Do you write it on your calendar? Do you put it in your phone? Or do you just write it down on your fridge? What do you typically do when you have somewhere that you have to be? And so ask them that. A lot of times it's just, well, yeah, I have a calendar on my fridge. Well, Miss Betty, is it okay? Can you go to the fridge and the calendar and write this down while we're talking? Because again, this is very important. I don't want either one of us to forget. Something else we have our agents do is, you know what? You don't want a one-legged appointment. You want both of the decision makers there at all costs, if possible. And so you say, well, Miss Betty, is Joe also going to be able to be there Tuesday at 2 o'clock? Yeah, he'll be able to. You're 100% positive it works for both of you. Yeah, it does. Okay, well, then you're going through, what's your address? Give me directions. How do you typically write down an appointment? Miss Betty, I'm actually adding this to my calendar right now. Betty and Joe, 123 Main Avenue, Tuesday at 2 o'clock, next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Okay, so have you written that down, Miss Betty? And so you're going through actually solidifying and concreting that appointment. It sounds more complex, but it's just a couple of steps that we give to our agents to solidify and actually make sure that we have less no-shows, less people forgetting, and that they're there, they're ready, and they know why we're there. And so, but we can also go into kind of the skills or the traits to have when you're calling set appointments over the phone. What's 3 things you need? Well, number 1, you always need to be in control. There's a saying, sell or be sold. Well, either you're going to sell them that they need you to come see them, or they are going to sell you on why you don't. So sell or be sold. And so you want to always be in control. If you're in control, you have a much better chance of actually getting the appointment. No, you don't want to be overbearing and a jerk, but you do want to be in control of the flow of the conversation. You also want your personality to come through. You want to be very kind, very respectful, very nice, but you want your personality to come through. You don't want to be a robot when you're calling. Hey, Miss Betty, this is Cody from Secure. You want to have some passion to what you're saying, and you want your personality to come through. A lot of times, when they're buying insurance, they eventually buy insurance, but a lot of times, the deciding factor is a human that they can trust and that they get along with, and so that always helps our chances. The third thing is we need to be relentless. Even if we have to call for 2 or 3 hours, we need to be relentless in actually getting. And sometimes it actually takes us asking 3 or more times to actually come to their home. Well, you know what, Cody, Tuesday does not work. Okay, well, what day works for you? It was just a quick softball throwback close question, so to speak. And so you figure out what works best. And so you're asking several different times. Don't ever think because they say no. A lot of times it may be a knee-jerk reaction, so to speak. Or they actually could meet, we just asked the wrong question. And so you need to be persistent and relentless. So what we've went over is you need to have you need to know what you're doing and have a plan, but you need to know why you're doing it. You need to set some goals. You need to have scripts available for you. Again, someone to lean on. And you need to be in control. You need to let your personality come out. And you need to be relentless and persistent when you're calling. These are all things that you need to think about when you're setting appointments over the phone. Hopefully this has given you some creative ideas. Hopefully by giving a few tidbits of ways to solidify and concrete appointments when you're setting with the phone, hopefully it's given you some things that you haven't thought about. So again, this is Cody with Secure Agent Mentor and SecureAgentMentor.com. Thanks for listening. Please let me know if you need any help. I'm always here. Have a fantastic, fantastic week. Thank you.